Hey, JK here. I want to thank you for sharing part of your day with me. As we look forward to week 8, I kind of hope we replicate week 7 with one exception. I'm pretty happy with how things went throughout the week. There was, again, one spot I was not happy with, but however, let's go ahead and lose now and not in the playoffs. Let's go ahead and get to the Kent Murphy Dingers. We were able to bounce back from that Clown World loss last week with a very convincing 8-2 win, bringing our record to 4-1-1. We had big performances from Mr. Christian Yelich, Mr. Matt Olson, and Mr. Wilson Contreras. We had 2 home runs and between 3 and 6 RBIs from those guys. Christian Yelich, he filled the stat sheet, giving us some runs, some home runs, some RBIs, and even 2 stolen bases. Speaking of stolen bases, we also had 2 from Mr. Zach Neto. We also had at least 1 home run from Mr. Lawrence Butler, who I did not start when he hit the grand slam, or the 3-run home run. I can't remember which one. So that's pretty unfortunate. I was trying to get cute, and that did not make sense. Also from Mr. Alec Bohm, which was his first of the year, and my boy is back, Jackson Merrill. He also had 6 RBIs, so that's pretty great. We also had some wins from Mr. Jose Alvarado and Mr. Ben Casparius and Mr. Hunter Brown and Mr. Christopher Sanchez, so pretty happy with that. We also had 15 strikeouts from Mr. Carlos Rodon. Now on the other side, Mr. Carlos Rodon did not have the greatest start. He did give up several runs to a less than stellar team. That's pretty unfortunate, but was bailed out by the offense. Thank you, Yankees. We also had some bad starts by Mr. Nick Pivetta. Come on, man. What are you doing? And then Brian Wu. Come on, man. It was a team you should have beaten. Also, unfortunately, another cold week from the following guys: Brenton Doyle, Mr. Lawrence Butler, Riley Green, and Bryce Terang. Man, you didn't even steal a base last week. Come on. It's like 2 weeks in a row you haven't stolen a base. Bryce. Let's go, man. Something I am excited about is my ads. The drops, okay, yeah, we had to drop them, guys. But the ads this week, we were able to pick up Seth Lugo from waivers. Thank you for dropping him. We were also able to pick up Shelby Miller, who was taking the place of Justin Martinez, who took the place of Mr. AJ Puke. In any case, Martinez should be back here soon, so hopefully he is, and I don't know if we're on Shelby Miller. In any case, we also picked up Yuri Perez. He's a few starts away from getting back in the major leagues, and I'm excited. He is an electric guy when he's on the mound. Hopefully he'll be able to bring a little more life to this Marlins pitching staff, because Alcantara not doing any more, man. But the offense is looking a little better, so happy about that. Also picked up Ben Casparius and Tony Gonsolin, and then turned around and dropped Ben Casparius and Tony Gonsolin. And we also dropped my boy Connor Norby. You just weren't doing it for me, but of course when I drop you, you do well. Still some bases, so yeah, whatever. Cool. In any case, we also had to cut bait with Mr. Nick Martinez. Big loss there. And Ranger Suarez, because you got lit up. Then you came in and turned in a much better performance after I dropped you. So at the end of the week, we are 4-1-1. We have to continue to search waiver wire and pick up the panic drops that people had, because we want to be patient. We're going to let our plan work its way through and make sure we get to the playoffs, because once you get to the playoffs, anything is possible. Now we're going to move to the Cheese Weasels, where at some point in time this week, we were down to 8th or 9th spot with like 68 points. Now we're in 7th with 79. It's still not sexy, but we still have a lot of time left, and our pitching is just continuing to let us down. We did have a big week from Mr. Shea Langeliers, 2 home runs and 7 RBIs. Also had 2 home runs from Mr. Christian Yelich. We also had at least 1 home run and 3 RBIs from Bryson Stott and Trey Turner. Look at those Phillies. We also had some gem starts from, of all people, Shane Smith, who's been a very big surprise, and Michael Wacha, who does like to walk people and looks a lot like Paul Rudd. Someone who did not have a gem start was Aaron Nola. Again. Dude, what is going on? You're not this bad. You're not. There's no way. Are you this bad now? We also had a blown save from Reed Garrett, who right before had picked up a hold, so that stinks. We also had a cold week for Marcell Ozuna. And then yesterday we didn't start him, and he hit a home run. Why didn't we start him? I don't know, because he was cold. He wasn't doing a lot last week, so I was like, oh yeah. Don't listen to me when I say to sit people. Don't. Just don't. Missed a grand slam, or at least a 3-run home run from Mr. Larry Butler. Then, Marcell Ozuna, just don't listen to me, dude. Also had cold weeks from Brenton Doyle and Mr. Larry Butler, of course, because I missed the home run. But now we're going to get to the ads and drops. I've started to at least figure out there's one pitcher I can always drop and add. So I won't say I've already started on the trying to get back into the pitching piece of it, but I have started try to get back into the pitching piece of it. Not because I'm worried about that, but because there are some really good starts from guys, and I need to make sure I'm taking advantage of it. Like Colin Ray, perfect example. Started with the Marlins, and then he has the White Sox this weekend. Got to take advantage of that, right? So we tried to do that last week with Jake Irvin. Didn't work. Sean Burke. Didn't work. Shane Smith. Somewhat worked. Michael Wacha. That definitely worked. So picked up Chris Bassett, which did work. Jose Quintana, which did not work. Picked up my boy Zach Neto. I'm so happy. I'm so excited we have him. He's going to steal some bases. He's going to hit some home runs. He's going to be on a bad team that barely wins games. But hey, he's going to get his stuff done. And then we also picked up Victor Scott because I wanted and needed stolen bases along with Mr. Zach Neto. So that is where we are. Now for the drops. Oh, we dropped Aroldis Chapman because he didn't do anything for me for 2 weeks. We also dropped Alec Bohm, who then proceeded to get 2 hits a game and then hit a home run. So that's cool. Then we dropped a lot of the pitchers we talked about picking up. Jake Irvin, Michael Wacha, Chris Bassett, Shane Smith, Jose Quintana, and Bryce Miller. Had to let go of Bryce Miller. Dude, what are you doing? So 7th spot, 79 points. Not sexy, not where we want to be, but there's a lot of baseball left. We just have to get on a hot streak, have to make sure we start our studs, and continue to pick and choose the best pitchers we want. We're still grinding for the holes, still grinding for the saves, still picking up silly losses because, of course, we are. But in any case, we got to keep being smart with the guys that we want to play and want to add and want to drop because, again, it's a quick turnaround league. In any case, now we're going to move to the Fantrax League and talk about the Funky Junky Joker Monkeys. I'll go ahead and tell you, this was a disappointing week. My pitchers let me down so bad. I had at least 4 guys who got no more than 6 points to average anywhere between 15 and 20, 25 maybe. So you can imagine, unfortunately, we lost. The score is frustrating, 482 to 388. Again, pitching let me down. High scorer was Pablo Lopez with 44, followed by Jeremy Pena with 28, and then Seth Lugo with 27. And instead of having, I think last week we had like 8 or 9 guys with 20 plus points, this week we only had 3. Now, as far as the guys that didn't do well for me, Mr. Jeremiah Flaherty, you got me 4 points. Bryce Miller, you got me 4 points. Jake Irvin, you got me 1 point. Kyle Stowers, got me 0 points. Of course, I didn't start you when you hit the home run. Why would I, right? The guys who drops this week were pretty heavily dependent on the fact that there was a doubleheader with the Rockies and the Tigers midweek. So that was my way to get back into it. And at one point in time, I did take the lead by, I think, like 20, 25 points. Picked up Javi Baez, which I never thought I would say that after like 2019. And Colt Keith, and then also Trey Sweeney. We also tried to get back into it a little bit with the relief pitching of Mr. Fernando Cruz, who very promptly blew a save, got us a loss. Yeah, that's cool, that's cool. And Mr. Kirby Yates, who also gave up a run and only had like 1 strikeout over like 2/3 of an inning, something like that. But yeah. So y'all surely didn't help. So thanks a lot for that. The drops did include Trey Sweeney, who we already picked up, Colt Keith, who we already picked up. We also had to drop Hunter Gaddis. Really felt bad about that, but more so about Mr. Randy Rodriguez. We'll probably pick him back up, and then Jake Irvin because, yeah, you got me 1 point. That's cool. So it's okay. We are 6-1 on the season. We're still first in the league. Let's just not lose any more games. This week it's looking pretty good already. I am happy that we have, I won't say an easy week, but a week where we can have our foot off the gas pedal a little bit. Now let's go ahead and move to the ESPN platforms and talk about the Peach Creek Purgatory team. This is a big week for the entire league. It was the 2 undefeated teams going head to head. Who was going to still have the goose egg in their loss column at the end of week 7? Well, let me first tell you, I missed out on Jason Dominguez's 3 home run game. That would have been 40 points for me. We also missed out on the very next day, Corey Seager's 2 home run game. That would have gotten me 20 points. So that right there, I'm down 60 points. Oh, and I also didn't start Taylor Ward's Grand Slam for 22 points. So that right there, I'm now, it's 80 points. 80 points I'm down. But I somehow still ended up winning 987 to 897. The score was not indicative of actually how close it was. It did come down to Sunday. I had 1 very good pickup, but he had Mr. Pablo Lopez and Mackenzie Gordon on Sunday. Ooh, talk about scared. I was so scared. But in any case, I was able to keep calm, carry on, and make some very important and very major, critical, crucial, big brain ads and starts, other than, those three guys I talked about. Top scorer was Trey Turner and Stephen Kolek. That's right. Complete game, not a no-hitter. That would have been great. But complete game shutout by Mr. Stephen Kolek. Mr. Trey Turner also got me 58 points. So that was awesome. Also, Mr. Ketel Marte and Eugenius Suarez got me 56 points. And I had 3 more guys that got me at least 50 points. So thank you guys. On the other hand, Mr. Yamamoto only got me 8 points. Sean Burke got me 7. And Jameson Taillon got me 1. Now I moved to the ads and drops, and we did, in fact, pick up Mr. Stephen Kolek. And also Mr. Sean Burke. And in response, we dropped Luis Ortiz, who had a great game against the Phillies. 9 strikeouts over 7 innings. Did not expect that. Someone very quickly scooped him up, which understandably so. We also dropped Phil Maton. Right now, we are still 7-0. We're undefeated, knocking on wood. We have to continue to play hard. We have to be smart about what we're doing at this point in time. The guy that we played Monday, or the guy that we started to play Monday this week, he had 3 starters, so we're currently losing by like 80 points. We had 1 starter who did pretty well. So I'm not at all worried about it. We just have to continue to make sure we're starting the right guys and having quality, strong starts from our pitchers. Now we're going to move to the South Harmon Institute of Technology, where this week we did well. Better than what I was expecting, to be honest with you. We were able to bounce back from a pretty embarrassing loss last week to the tune of 12 wins, 4 losses, and 2 ties. We had a huge week for Mr. Freddie Freeman. Nursing that ankle, but still getting the job done. He had 28 total bases, 3 home runs, and 12 RBIs, where Francisco Lindor had 20 total bases, 2 home runs, 7 RBIs, and 2 stolen bases, where then Mr. Taylor Ward, Eugenio Suarez, and Matt Olson all had at least 2 home runs and 12 total bases. We also had some pretty decent pitching, but nothing that really stood out crazy. But hey, enough to get us some wins, right? On the opposite side, Mr. Bryce Train did give us 5 walks, but only 1 stolen base, and you went 1 for 12. That's not great. Kyle Stowers, you went 2 for 20. I think I got you for your home run, but that's all you did for us. Now, I'm thankful for that, but that's it, man. Need you to do more. Mr. Kate Smith also had a blown save and a loss and blew my ERA up and whip, so that's not great. Need you not to ever do that again. Nick Pivetta also had a terrible start, but the worst performance we had that absolutely cost us ERA and whip. Jose Ferrer, plays for the Nationals, picked him up because they had 9 holds. You ended up giving up like 5 runs or 6 runs in like a third of an inning. As this week did include Mr. Jose Ferrer, who I also dropped, Tony Gonsolin, who I also dropped, Trey Sweeney, and Tommy Canley, and we dropped the 2 mentioned before, but also Ben Kasparius and Agustin Ramirez. So at this point in time, we are 59, 42, and 25. Happy about that, but cannot become complacent. We have to continue putting pressure on. We have to continue getting wins and our ties. The ties are going to be what helps. Losses just absolutely obliterate us. A tie counts for half a win. So 2 ties, it's 1 win. We have to at least shoot for ties. Obviously, getting wins is better, but ties are the absolute worst. And the final team we're talking about, the Russell My Jim Jams team, which last week was another frustrating situation for us. We just didn't do as well as we wanted to. But this week, again, it was frustrating. However, we did end up winning this week. 8 categories to 6 categories to 2 categories. Want there to be less losses and more ties, kind of what we talked about before. But beggars can't be choosers. I mean, I can be, but I'd rather just be able to say, oh, hey, I'm glad with what you did, instead of, oh, I wish we'd done better. One of our top performers was Hunter Goodwin, who had 1 home run, 5 extra base hits, and 7 RBIs. Not to be outdone by Mr. George Springer with 2 home runs, 3 extra base hits, 5 RBIs, and 4 walks. Not to be outdone by Mr. Wilson Contreras with 2 home runs, 3 extra base hits, 6 RBIs, and 5 walks. So take that, sir. No real standout pitching performance, so let's go ahead and get to the guys that didn't do well for us, which obviously didn't include pitching, but we'll start with the hitters. Jose Altuve, Larry Butler, or Lawrence Butler, Zach McKinstry, and TJ Friddle. Y'all did nothing for me, or very little for me. Of course, I didn't start Butler when he had his home run, whatever. But yeah, very few walks, very few hits in general. Like, what are you guys doing? I was able to get creative with some of the ads we had this week, including Mr. John India, who is my secret man crush for baseball. Love him, wish he were doing better, but he does get a lot of walks, along with Sean Burke and Shane Smith and Trey Sweeney. And finally, J.P. Crawford, who again gets a lot of walks, but again, for me, only got me 1 walk last week. Come on, dude. That's the only reason I got you on my team. Other drops include TJ Friddle, Lance McCullers, which thank God I didn't start him against the Reds. God bless America. Also Luke Jackson, because he hadn't pitched in like a week. Trey Sweeney, Shane Smith, and Ben Kasparius. For the end of the day, we are 40, 52, and 20, and that means we are still under 500. That's pretty frustrating, but all we can do is keep working, try our very best to at least get into 6th spot so that anything is possible. Now let's go ahead and move to the guys I think you should add, as if it weren't already said enough as you're looking over your waiver wires and looking over your people you should add in other columns. Colin Ray has a phenomenal matchup this week. 2 start matchups. Marlins yesterday, where he picked up a win, and the White Sox on Sunday. Ben Brown is going tonight against the Marlins, and then Jameson Taillon goes tomorrow against the Marlins. I'm absolutely picking him up. Jameson Taillon is one of my favorite pitchers, so definitely look for any of those guys. Because again, Colin Ray, not sexy, but gets the job done. Relief pitchers, definitely think you should be looking at Camilo Duvall, if he's still available, or Randy Rodriguez. I'm a big fan of Randy Rodriguez because Ryan Walker has blown a few saves. He's given up, I think I read it was like 6 earned runs in 7 innings, or like 7 earned runs in 6 innings, something like that. There has to be a change there. Also, because Luke Jackson got hit in the arm by a comebacker from Ryan McMahon, you might want to look at Chris Martin. He should take over save opportunities in Texas if there's ever another one there, because neither one of them's done anything for me for like 2 weeks, so that's cool. Now, some starting hitters. You know, I said it before, Jordan Lawler was finally called up, getting his first start tonight. I don't know how he's doing, but hopefully he's doing decently well, because I sat Jose Altuve for him. Jose Altuve is also going over to play Chris Pubic. I know it's Bubik, but hopefully he doesn't do great because I sat him. So Jordan Lawler coming up, doing big things. Might also want to look at the man, the myth, the legend, coming back, Matt Vierling. Yes, Matt Vierling, third base outfielder. I like him. Plays for the Tigers as an electric team. He will be able to man third. Now, here's the thing. Who are you going to move? Who are you going to move? You have Torque at first. Second, you have Colt Keith. Short, you have Sweeney. Third, who is it? Do you know who plays third? Jace Young. So he's definitely going to be moved because Mr. Baez is now in center field. So that's going to allow potentially Dingler, Kerry Carpenter, Riley Green, those guys to be DH and be able to play outfield. So Vierling could play third. He could also play some outfield. So yeah, I like Matt Vierling coming back. Should be coming back here soon. Talking about guys coming back from the IL, Clayton Kershaw. Also, Brandon Woodruff, but he did tweak his ankle, so he might be out in another week or two. So those 3 guys coming off IL, go ahead, pick them up. Could benefit you a little bit in the short term, potentially long term, you know, depending on what's going on with that rotation for the Doyers. I mean, unless it's playoffs, Kershaw couldn't be too bad of an option, right? Playoffs, God forbid, do not play him. In any case, the last person I will advise you to look at picking up, Kyle Leahy. So the bullpen guy, Halsley, he's blown a few. He's not doing as sexy. Not, you know, his underlying numbers aren't as sexy as they could or should be. Yes, he led the major leagues last year in saves, but Leahy, he's really been great. I think he's a sub-1 or very low 1 ERA, sub-1 whip. Look at him for this Cardinals bullpen. Also, Phil Maton, really like him, but he's blown a few, not blown saves, but he's given up a few runs. But Kyle Leahy, that's the guy. Leahy. There we go. Now, in case I wasn't saying it right. But that does it for me. We did very good this week, looking to build on this and continue these next coming weeks. Give us 20 more weeks, give us a championship, give us some money, and we'll do good, right? Yep. So as always, enjoy your week. Make sure you're starting your studs. Do what you need to win your leagues. And remember, this is J Cake. Now I want to thank you for sharing part of your day with me.